This will be a quick introduction and overview of document creation and saving it both as a document or saving it as a PDF file. Now the value in this is a Word document can be edited and changed both on purpose and inadvertently, unlike a PDF document, which is basically locked down. However, it's worth noting that there are many different versions of Word or Pages if you use a Mac or other word processing applications. And there are also multiple versions of PDF or Adobe Acrobat. And one needs to pay a bit of attention about how they're saving each of these. So I'll just walk through these real quickly. I have opened a document. Of course, your instructor may have given you certain parameters that the document has to follow. What type of font to use, what size font to use, whether it's single-spaced, double-spaced, or whatnot. So one will want to obviously follow those directions straight up. A couple of tips about good practice when it comes to file creation and document creation in general. At the top of that, I'll generally have a header, and that header will indicate a couple of things. First of all, this header is written for the instructor. So I will want to indicate which version of that class I'm in. If the instructor teaches 4 sections of it, it's worth noting which section you are in. Secondly, I want to indicate which assignment this is because the instructor probably gets a great deal of assignments and they will have to sort of sort through those. I'll also include the instructor's name on here just so there's no confusion at that level either. On this side, one should put in their own name. Generally speaking, it's not unwise to put in a date and also some identifier, and email address is often going to serve as that. Now, once again, if the instructor has given other directions on that, clearly you'll follow those. Now let's just quickly save this document 2 ways. I'm going to save it as a Word document or a Pages document if I were working with a native word processing application for Apple. So I'll come up here to File. Obviously, I'll go to Save As. Now this is important. In Windows 10, I have to find out where I'm going to save it, and I will hit Browse. So real quickly, I will save that in a folder that I'm going to right-click here in Windows 10, and I'm going to say that I would like to go to a new folder, and I'm going to have a folder just for this class. And the class happens to be named English 101. I'll open up that folder, and now for naming files that are going to be used to turn in assignments, I strongly recommend you don't put just down the name of the class because otherwise the professor will get a host of files that have the name of the class. That doesn't help the professor. Instead, it's wisest to always put your name as part of the file name so that the instructor can see who turned it in. The next thing is you don't want to put any special characters between words and file names. Computers get confused. So don't put in a parentheses or other things like that. You can't always put in an underscore, so you can do that. And then I'll put in the name of the assignment. Now, when the instructor sees this document, they'll know that this Cresterlin student turned in assignment 01, and there's going to be no doubt. That's the naming structure, and I'm also putting it in a folder that has the name of the course on my own computer. So I save that. In my folder structure, I see that in my documents, I have this folder. Now, if that Word document is closed, I'll be able to do this next step. If you're using Windows 10 and you come up here and you right-click this, you'll see that it will give you the option of converting this to a PDF. It will keep the Word file, but it will also, there will be a PDF version. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that I want to convert it to PDF. And now I'll see over here, I have in the same folder something that says Cresterlin Assignment 1 and then Assignment 1 again as a PDF. And these icons indicate which is which. I'll open it to make sure it's hunky-dory, and it should pop up and look identical to how it looks as a Word document. However, I will point out that if it doesn't, you want to probably download Adobe Acrobat Reader or Adobe Reader online. It's free, and it is a good way to look at PDFs. And depending where you are in the process, another way to do the same task to convert it to a PDF, if the Word document is still open, then all you need to do is come up here and save it a second time. It is merely to come up to the top, go to File, Save As. With the same file name, you're going to choose PDF under the Save As options there, and then you go to Save, and it will populate as a PDF, and at this point in time, you ought to be able to upload that.